Hey everybody, welcome back. As you can probably hear, maybe they're baling in the fields. Fall is here. Most of the crops are off the fields for the year. And I got a lot of maintenance to do, like on that and the skid steer. But right now I'm doing some motorcycle maintenance because, well, having a full-dressed touring bike, as my dad would call it, you can ride longer into the season here. So I'm doing a little bit of work to the Kawasaki Concours 14. And I'll show you guys a few things that I've done. Maybe if you have one of these bikes and you're experiencing the same issues as me, maybe this will help you out. Let's go to the bike. Here we are at the bike. The first thing I did, I ordered this Sargent touring seat. Now I'm still breaking it in. I'm not in love with it as of yet. It's okay. It's better than stock. Seats are a subjective thing. It's better than stock. I'll give it that. I'm not in love with this thing yet, though. The biggest problem with this bike is you tend to slide forward and you end up sitting here, which isn't the most comfortable for me. I'd rather have my butt always firmly planted here. But this thing's breaking in, so we'll leave it at that. Now, last week, for the first time in 15 years, I took my wife for a ride on the bike. And she was horribly uncomfortable, not because of the seat. She actually liked the seat. This case, first of all, I'll show you. The guy made his own metal bracket. And he said the stock bracket tends to bend and break with too much weight in this Givy top case. So he made his own metal bracket, but when he mounted it, he was probably riding solo on this thing. My wife's not particularly big. She's quite small, actually. But this thing was so far forward that this was up here, and it was making her sit slouched forward and trying to round her back. So what I actually did is, I took the backrest, I flipped it upside down, and I put it here, and what a difference in comfort. So, yeah, it says Givy upside down, but this bike's for go, not for show. And really, it looks fine. I've sat back there now, and it's really, really comfy. I moved this back. I moved the brackets back about 3 inches. So, just another thing to consider. Also, I bought these lowering brackets. I bought these online. The stock pegs go here, and these drop them forward about 2 inches and down 3 inches. So, kind of an extreme movement, but I think it'll be perfect for her. I just think she'll be more comfortable. And along with that, I put these lowering brackets on the bike. I've been off two wheels for like 10 years. No, 14, 15 years. I'm not old, friends, but I'm a lot older than when I was riding last time. And, I was like late 20s, 30 years old last time I was riding. I'm in my early 40s now, and my hips and knees are not what they used to be. Going up and down ladders for 20 years definitely does its wear, but, we can do things to help modify our position, and these brackets are available online, and they drop the pegs about 1.5 inches down. So I bought these brackets. I'll show you the other side. Here's the other side, same thing, drops the bracket down. I had to readjust the shifter, and seems to be quite a bit more comfy when I'm sitting on the bike. And of course, I have a matching peg on this side. So that takes care of this end of the bike. Now I'll show you guys what I'm going to do in today's video. Today's video, I'm going to install a set of risers. These bars are not low, but they're too low for the type of bike this is. Now, don't get me wrong, friend. This thing absolutely shreds. This is a 160 horsepower fire-breathing motorcycle. If you're not a bike person, when a speedometer goes that high, that's not in miles for my American friends down there. That's the equivalent of 180 miles an hour, somewhere around there. When you have a speedometer that reads like that on a motorcycle, it's because it goes that fast. This thing it's fast, it handles, but I'm too tall and I lean really far forward on this bike. So I'm going to unbolt all this today. And install a set of risers, 2-inch risers that I bought online. I'm going to try that. The idea is I'm trying to stop sitting like this. I want to sit more like this so that my butt is sitting on the seat and not something else, if you guys know what I'm saying. I don't want to ride the tank. Those days are long gone for me. I used to ride like my Ducati. That thing has low clip-ons. You're slung right over the tank when you're riding that. It's fun, but it's not comfortable. So anyhow, friends, I'm going to get the tripod set up and let's get this off. And this mount is new. I'll show you guys what that's for. Okay, I got you guys right in here with one of my many camera mounts that I've purchased over the years. And maybe I might have to use a straight Allen head. Well, I think I'm going to have to. This is actually a GPS mount here. And I do not have a GPS. It had one on it. That was the one thing the fellow that sold me this bike was like, hey, really want my GPS. I could see why a guy would want one, because if you have your phone mounted here, this is a RAM mount if you've never seen one of these. These things are absolute cat's meow. If you have your phone mounted here and you're traveling, say, coast to coast in Canada, well, you could hit multiple weather fronts while you're crossing the country. I wouldn't really want my phone getting absolutely plummeted with rain here. So it might be better to use like a Garmin GPS. So I'm going to leave this mount on here. Just give me a second here. I'm going to get a straight Allen key. Okay, this one right here should be the one. There we go. Nice thing about this bike is I haven't found any bolts that a Gorilla's put on. Oh, just dropped the washer there, friends. We'll have to grab that after. Okay, back to this. So basically, all these risers do is bolt. They're big, heavy 2-inch risers. And they just raise the handlebars up, basically. Now, I'm going to leave that one in. I'm going to take this one out, because I got to get this mount off before we actually do this. Now, I'm going to say, I've put some parts on this bike already, because, well, I can't leave anything stock. Any of you guys that hang out on this channel know that. Everything I own, well, my stuff, everything's custom. And by custom, I just mean I've done stuff to it to make it work better for me. My truck, you know, my Power Stroke's got bigger tires. It's got lights all over it. It's got a heavy-duty tow package on it. Just all the stuff that I need to do my work with it, right? So, this is a very utilitarian bike, although I like the way it looks. It's a good-looking machine. I'm just trying to make this thing work better for me and be more comfortable. My back it's usable. It still works. There's people with worse backs than me, but I have my fair share of damage to my back just from years of working construction and being the biggest guy in the room. You know, when you're a big fella, you tend to spend a lot of your life being a human forklift. You know, hey, big fella, can you lift this up for me? And when you're young, you just do it. And as you get older, you got to learn, just because you can lift something doesn't mean you should. So anyhow, I've been struggling with the ergonomics on this bike. For me, I see. So there's a spacer in there. And the idea is I got to get this thing comfier for me, because if I don't, I may have to part ways with this thing early, because I'm definitely having a lot of issues riding it. I hope it's not just my body, and it could be, friends. If my body just doesn't want to ride anymore, then I just won't be riding motorcycles, which is a shame because I waited so long. But anyways, enough about that, because it is what it is. We all have our things. So basically I got to take these two bolts off, and then I'll lift this up. I just want to find that washer that I dropped on the floor. And I found that washer on the first go. Okay, let's do this bar first. And then I'll probably have to flip you over to the other side, or we'll just skip the second bar because, well, you're mounted to the left handlebar right now with a clamp camera mount. As I've been doing this longer, when I started the first like year I did YouTube, I didn't even have a tripod or anything. And then my wife's grandfather, who's a good man, he's still with us, Mr. Richard. He's a great man. He was a photographer, and he gave me my first tripod, which I still use. It's the only tripod I use, and I've had it for years. It's a Manfrotto, like a really high-end Manfrotto tripod, and I love it. It's super sturdy. Okay, all we're doing is putting these on, basically. Okay, they're milled out of aluminum, and then there's 3 longer bolts for each side. Now, I don't know, I may have to loosen some stuff, and it looks like I'm going to have to. So, just give me a few seconds here, friends, and I'll figure out what we got to move or change. Okay, I'm going to put your guys'... I was going to put your light on, but I think we're good here. Okay, 2 10mm bolts. They hold the banjos on. Oops, helps if you put it the right way, friends. Okay, and if you look, there's actually a threaded hole in the front. I didn't even realize what that was for. It makes sense now. Okay, let's stick this down where it goes. Now, I'm just looking right now. I may not be able to reuse my mount in the center, which it looks like I'm not going to be able to because these bolts are not going to be long enough. Which is kind of a bummer because I use that mount all the time. So I'll have to see if I can get some longer bolts. Let me see here. But yeah, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to remount that. And actually, friends, what usually rides on there is cup holder. I got this ram mount cup holder, which is hilarious. My wife says it's funny, but I use that for when I was driving this thing to work in the morning, I couldn't get coffee. And, well, Canadians, me being a Canadian fella, we drink a lot of coffee. So, it's definitely part of the culture here. You stop by a buddy's place, you ask him, hey, do you want a coffee? If you're going by Tim Hortons, you better not show up with a coffee. Oh, this is going to be nice now, friends. I can already see it moves the bars back and up. I'm kind of upset that I can't use these, but it is what it is. I mean, I probably could, but let's face it. What's more important, drinking coffee or having handlebars that have more than 2 threads holding them down? I think I'll go with the latter. Just a personal preference. I could probably find longer bolts. And yeah, we'll just go with that for now. Okay, and I'll just cinch these down with the ratchet. And yeah, I'll have to figure out another way to mount my cup holder. Because, well, I like my coffee. Cinch these down. They don't have to be crazy tight because they're just little bolts. And there we go. And the last thing on this side is to take this, pull my brake tee up, and screw that in. That's clean. Like, you know, I gotta say, when I used to ride, and don't get me wrong, I still shop at brick and mortars. In my region, if I'm going to buy something, I'm going to Capital Motorsports in Winnipeg. Dave Rand is a good dude, and I've known him for, oh geez, 20 years. You know, off and on. I didn't ride for a while, but I walked in there and it's like I never left. And he's a rider, and a business owner. So I always give him my business whenever possible, friends. Stuff like this though, what's nice is that, you know, small bits and pieces like this you can order online now. That was not a thing when I was riding, you know. 15 years ago, you went on in the back of the magazines, at least I did when I was doing Harleys and that, and they would place ads. Yeah, this is gonna be perfect. They would place ads, these companies, and you would maybe have a website, but that's how you found out about stuff back in the day. And it was definitely harder to customize your bike. There we go. That's nice and tight, not touching anywhere. Beauty. Okay, I'm going to do the other side, and I'll let you guys know what I think. Well, here's the finished install, and I'm 6'2", 6'3", and already, I mean, I'm really sad about the loss of my cup holder, but I'm going to tell you guys right now, this, I'm so much more comfortable, and now suddenly, this seat, I'm sitting, and I can actually feel this part cupping the back of my butt. So there's the finished install. It looks factory. You can't even tell I did anything. And it brought the bars up 2 inches and back probably an inch. And now I'm sitting straight up and down. I could still lean forward. That's right, friends. That was a Cummins that just drove by, and it sounded good. I could still lean forward and tear it up on this thing, but what a difference. So I'm hoping this will be the trick to fix this bike, because I really like this bike, and I'm hoping to keep it and, you know, ride the living bejesus out of it, because it's only got 60,000 kilometers on it. So anyhow, friends, I will report back on this bike and whether I like the mods. Again, if you're a younger fella, well, whoever's driving that there Cummins is really motoring. Probably a 5-inch exhaust on that thing. She's loud. Anyways, since I've had this bike, friends, I've always noticed it's not comfy for me. When I first bought it, I took it for a ride, and, you know, a quick 2-minute ride up and down to make sure it shifts. It doesn't tell you anything, but I've always noticed that I'm not super comfy on it. And I just figured, I haven't ridden in a long time, but lot of pressure on my wrists and hands, and, you know, I tend to slouch when I'm riding it because I'm like curving my back to get to the handlebars, where now I'm like, instead of sitting like this, I'm sitting like this just naturally when I get on it. So anyhow, love the Concours 14. Kawasaki did an excellent job with that bike. And I don't say that lightly, friends. I've had 30 to 40 motorcycles in my life. I've had all the brands, you know, Ducati, Kawasaki, Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, Harley Davidson, of course, custom bikes that I've built. I've had a lot of different bikes. I tend to sway towards Kawasaki on the Japanese bikes. But I've had a lot of bikes, friends. Love them all. They all are good at what they do and bad at what they don't do. And this bike is more of a, it's a bike where you can do everything. It does everything well, and nothing poorly. You know, you want a tour? Perfect. You want a tour with 2 people? Great bike. With a few mods, of course. You want to tear it up with your sport bike buddies? Oh, yeah. And you want to just cruise around? Perfect bike for it. So, commuting, same thing. It's a great commuter. I've ridden it to work. I don't ride it to work every day, but, you know, one day a week or one day every other week, I'll take it to work, and it's been perfect. So, anyhow, friends, that's what I'm doing tonight in the shop. And I think I'm going to go for a ride and try out my new bars. Thanks for watching. Take her easy. Later.